When the Bible declares in Malachi chapter 2 verse 16 that God hates putting away, because what I'm doing is mentoring you. And when you're mentoring a son, when you're mentoring a daughter, you say things that you don't say when you're preaching. This is mentorship. It's mentorship by phone. It's mentorship by computer. Mentorship by radio. So when I'm mentoring you like I'm doing now, it mustn't like we are in a church. I have to give you practical issues. Practical. Matters that really matter. When God says, I hate divorce, what exactly do you think God hates? Think about that for a moment. When God, a loving God, a good God, says that this is something that I hate divorce. You and I, we need to sit down at some point and study this and really discuss it. Which part, what exactly, why does God hate divorce? Just two people being together and they part ways, and God comes in and he says, I hate this. So I am thinking at my level of reasoning in the spirit, what exactly does God hate? I'm not one person who says, okay, God hates it. He hates it. I want to study. I want to know the heart of God. What exactly is it that God hates? Which part? Because when people separate, this one goes his way, that one, they are not dead. They are not dead. They can still continue serving God. They receive the Lordship of Jesus. They die. They go to heaven. But why does God hate divorce? I'll give you the reason. What he hates is not really divorce. It is betrayal. It is not the separation. It is not the walking away of two people from each other. It is the privacy, the information, confidential information about each other that each person carries away. Information that you got by reason of an established relationship. You qualified for the secrets. Now there is a lot that you know about your wife, and she has a lot that she knows about you. And what God hates is when that information now is carried outside of the union and given to foreigners. This is the part that hurts God the most. Betrayal. Because when people divorce, rarely do they keep quiet. They feel obligated to declare the reasons to the people why they divorced. That's betrayal. You now know everything about your man. You know his weaknesses. He opened up to you. You know his flaws because of access. You were the closest person. Not because you're too spiritual, not because you have great revelations about him. No, proximity. You walked into his tent. You had the privilege of knowing his weaknesses. Not because you are good at discovering. No, you are the closest. But the day you choose to rebel against him, to walk away from his life, it is that information that you carry away. And that's the thing that God doesn't want to see happening. The secrets about each other. I have seen people after divorce, some go to newspapers, some write stories about their partners. What a terrible thing. That's serious betrayal. You want everyone to know why you divorced. Can you imagine? Imagine the spirit that was in Joseph. When Joseph discovered that Mary was pregnant, the Bible says that Joseph said, I will silently put her away. I don't want to shame her. Quietly. Joseph was not even willing to discuss that with anyone. Can you imagine? He was convinced that she had committed adultery. But even at that level of adultery, he said, I will not talk about it. That tells you that he was the right husband. He had a good spirit. Betrayal. When the two of you separate, and when you start making that information available to people who have got nothing to do with that relationship, they've got nothing to do with the relationship. You start giving them information about your husband, information about your wife. You know what? You are actually stating reasons why you two divorced. When you keep quiet, people will keep wondering, why? Such a wonderful couple. Why? But the moment you begin to talk, now you are justifying reasons why he said, walk away. Get out of my house. When you speak against your man, when you speak against your husband, you are telling the world that you don't deserve to be in that relationship. That's proof now. That's proof. When you speak against your former boss, who kept you for 10 years, for 20 years, giving you money every month, when you speak against him, just because he fired you, you are giving people reasons why he fired you. You did not deserve to be there. Why release information about somebody who kept you for that long? Stop betraying each other. Fight so hard when you feel that Satan has entered. By the grace of, if it happens that you feel that your character has changed. If I were you, because there is so much grace in the New Testament. Unfortunately, Judas betrayed Jesus in the Old Testament. Because Jesus had not yet died. But I believe in the New Testament. You can quickly run for deliverance. Try all that you can. Even if it is never going to work, but please try. Just try. Why is it that it is easy for you to gather when you have your relatives around you? You open your mouth and you speak against your husband. What is that? What a shame. You are a disgrace. How can you? And you are born again. You claim you are born again. You leave your house. You leave your man. Of all the men in the world, this is one man who took you in. And your people, they put you right at the center and you are discussing, sharing secrets. All the bad things that you know about your husband. What kind of a spirit is that? That's betrayal. God hates divorce. And when he talks about divorce, he's not just talking about two people who are married. No. When you belong to an organization, you walk away from that organization. Stop fighting against the organization, even if it's an idea. There are people who once worked for, maybe you worked for a garage, you were a mechanic there. When you walked away, you started the same thing, same business. That's okay. That may not be betrayal, but when you start speaking against the place that gave you an opportunity to become who you are, now that's betrayal. That's betrayal. That's betrayal. That's betrayal. Stop working against structures that brought you up. People that raised you, people that gave you a name. God hates divorce. What he hates is when you walk away from a covenant. And God in that same chapter, he said, I have been a witness between you and the wife of your youth, how you have dealt with her treacherously. That's God, what he said in that same chapter. He said, I want to have a covenant with you, but before we can have our own covenant, I'm observing your covenant with your wife, how you have cheated on her. So I know that you're also going to cheat on me. That's how God treats us. Before he can trust us, before he can enter into any covenants with us, he analyzes, he studies the relationships that we are in currently. So I'm here to tell you something. Some of these people that are betraying you, hear me. They are betraying you. But you are not the first person they have betrayed. They have betrayed themselves in the past. That's one thing about betrayers. A person with a rebellious spirit, before he rebels against you, he or she rebels against herself. Because if a person can look at his wife, can look at her and wonder, why did I marry this woman? She's still the same person. That same man can also rebel against you. You can choose your ministry, and after a few days look at the ministry and say, and wonder, why did I choose this ministry? I repeat, people who are rebelling against you, they have rebelled against themselves. Watch them as they rebel against their own decisions. They choose this dress, and in the next 70 hours, they are regretting why they bought the dress.